Obsession is the latest Alex Delaware novel by best-selling author Jonathan Kellerman. Welcome, Jonathan.
Pleasure to be here, thanks.
Introduce us to your returning character, Alex Delaware.
Alex Delaware, psychologist, guy who gets into trouble. He's driven to find out the truth. He's a great vehicle for telling a certain type of story. And the kind of stories I like to tell are the whodunit plus the whydunit. Because of my background as a psychologist, I like to look at motivation and what causes people to do terrible things.
So what new challenges does Alex face in Obsession?
What Delaware is faced with is, first of all, to figure out if a deathbed confession is true. And a lot of the book is dealing with, did something actually happen? Once we establish that, then of course we get into the whodunit, the whydunit, the action, the LA scenes, all the things that have made Delaware a popular guy.
Where do you get the inspiration for your crime stories?
A lot of crime writers write about things that frighten them and bother them. I like to write crime novels because to me it deals with serious issues of life and death, and that makes for a good read. And this book is all about obsessive behavior, obsessive drive, the obsessive quest for the truth. The motto for the Delaware novels is, we forget about the past at our own peril.
Tell us about Tanya and the role she plays in this novel.
Tanya Bigelow is an interesting girl. I mean, this is a story of her functional mother, who's really her aunt, Patty Bigelow. Never planned to have children, sees herself as an asexual person, a loner, a dedicated nurse, and one day her crazy sister leaves this toddler on her doorstep, and she rises to the occasion and raises this girl, Tanya, as her very own. Tanya is a young girl. She's orphaned now. She's barely 20, living by herself, coping extremely well, which is another theme that intrigues me, the notion of the super survivor, the coper. I've dealt with that in other books, notably Billy Straight. And here she is living, and her mother has died at a young age and has confessed that she's killed someone and wants Tanya to deal with this. Well, did it happen? Could such a good person do such a terrible thing? Why is she telling Tanya? Tanya contacts Delaware, who had been her therapist. He, of course, contacts Milo Sturgis, who's a homicide cop, and together they try to unravel this great mystery.
Los Angeles serves as the background for many of your thrillers.
Right.
What quality does the city give your books?
LA in the 50s and 60s was a little more of a typical town. Now it's definitely Hollywood. It's definitely the film biz, the industry. Now you look at the industry. What's the commodity? The commodity is fantasy. So this is a city that trucks in fantasy. This is a city that trucks in make-believe. And also because, to some extent, we're a third world nation with extreme disparity between the haves and the have-nots. It's the perfect setting for a crime novel. It really is.
So with the long-running series of these Alex Delaware novels, can you just pick up any book at any time and understand what's going on?
I've written the books that they can be read out of sequence. A lot of what happens is people pick up the latest book, and it's the first one they've ever read, and since I have so many books out there, then they go back and say, oh, I like this, I'm going to go back and read the others.
What's next for Alex Delaware?
What's next for Alex Delaware is another novel that I'm literally completing now. I finished the first polished draft and I'm editing. And that book will be called Compulsion. There's Obsession, I Couldn't Resist, Compulsion, and that's coming out in a year. I've contracted for 3 more at least, and I would like to keep writing these books as long as people want to buy them.
Thank you so much for your time, Jonathan. It's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure talking to you too. Thank you.
Jonathan Kellerman's ongoing series of Alex Delaware thrillers has captivated audiences for over a decade. Obsession, the latest edition, is a heart-pumping, mind-bending story that advances the saga in new and exciting ways.